I have a very interesting panel out here. Most of them have an online, offline kind of business. In fact, like Omni is the new word. So, lots of insights. I've had a quick chat with most of them. In fact, like I just heard that Rujdi here is a very optimistic person. He's optimist that this room will get filled, and like a marketer, thinking about people would come, get through the funnel, and actually make a purchase. We are just thinking that, yeah, people will finish their lunches and come and fill these seats as well. So let's hope that that happens by the end of this session. And we have some good takeaways as well for everyone. All right. Firstly, I'll talk about data. Being the newest currency out here, and how important out there data is for everyone. And Vidisha, maybe you can talk about largely being able to collect first party data and how important is it based on your diverse experience across different industries that you have done, more recently at FinMart, but otherwise as well. It will be great to put some light on that.
Great, thank you. I think one first party data, so to say, is nothing but one North Star that irrespective of who you are in the business, you are chasing that one North Star. That's your audience, right? Of course, on a daily basis, you are trying to understand who is your audience, where does your audience come from, what is your audience doing, everything about your consumer, right? So that's something which is, like you rightly said, it is every marketer's currency, okay? And the best part about it is the first party data is exclusive to you as a business, right? So pretty much nobody has that. People may have it, but not all of it. So that's one important thing. And of course, I genuinely believe that first party data contributes to primarily to three big areas that how marketers can actually utilize it and increase their profitability, revenue. There's so many things attached to it. And of course, I will also go something that I've coined on my own, one of the newest KPIs in the market, so to say, something that I also genuinely believe in. I will speak about it later. So first party data essentially is, you are able to see your customer holistically, okay? It is not just a demographic data, okay? But it also a certain level of psychographic. It is also a certain level of intent data signals that you actually get. It also gives us signals about, what does his likes, dislikes, what has he done, what has he purchased, when did he purchase, offline, online, device, everything pretty much. So of course, it gives you a holistic picture and you're able to see your customer better. Secondly, what it also can drive for you as a business is you can use a lot of augmented intelligence into first party data, using first party data. So augmented intelligence, for just everybody, is it's a mix of human intelligence and artificial intelligence. So what essentially you do is you take your first party data and try to build some predictive models. You can actually build a timeline. You can do so much, and basis these models, you can coin certain programs, you can coin certain initiatives, also a hell lot of personalization, hyper-personalization. It's the world of hyper-personalization. Everything you can pretty much predict intuitively and serve it to your customer. And of course, thirdly, I also feel it, I think somebody even before this in the panel spoke about it, is you're actually able to drive a reasonable attribution because, unlike all the traditional attribution models, and I think all marketers, all businesses really struggle with attribution, right? Everybody is like, oh, where do we really attribute this customer, this purchase, etc. But yes, first party data does help you arrive at a reasonable attribution. So it's not just a fractional attribution, or it's not about last touch or last click, but it's pretty much looking back at the entire timeline of the customer, right? Entire, complete matching the customer to the device, to the everything. So that's what it really helps. So of course, it helps you achieve a new, like I said, right? There's a new KPI that you can actually look at is the cost per quality acquisition instead of just look at cost of acquisition or look at the lifetime value, which are pure retention metrics, pure acquisition metrics. You can actually club both of them and look at cost of quality acquisition, which I do it in my business.
Oh, that's a fantastic terminology, cost per quality acquisition. I'm sure that people might be around, and you might want to have questions around how you do that. Uh, Anuvrat, considering that you largely look at the business metrics, and marketing would probably become a part of it, and the way she mentioned, and there's always this major tussle between an online world, offline world. I've seen that people have different budgets for those, lot of large companies who have very offline first. I mean, the budgets go more over there because that's where the business is coming in from. And she also touched upon the attribution aspects of it, and there is always this tiff between who would take this attribution, whether it's offline and online, but the customer is present omni today. From a business lens standpoint, how do you look at these matrices? If you can share some thoughts, as how probably businesses that you have worked with look at this aspect more on the attribution, and on how do they even allocate budgets, for example, for any of these activities, so to say.
Absolutely. Hi, everyone. My name is Anuvrat. I work for a company called sellenycar.com. We are a company which is into used car trading. So we buy and sell cars online. We don't trade inventory. We buy cars online and we sell it to dealers. If you get an opportunity, visit it. It's a very unique concept. Now, getting on to the question that Kayur has asked, I think taking the cue from where we were discussing about data and moving on to the marketing part, I think in our part of the business, data is everything. We have been in the business for the last 10 years. We have just celebrated our 10th anniversary in the market. Come to think of it, there are millions of cars that have passed through our channels. Right. So we have got data. We have the second highest number of data after the government agencies, RTA. So every car goes through RTA, but after RTA, we are the second largest data bank for cars, for automobiles. We know which cars running in this country. We know which color is preferred by this country. We know how many of male and female drivers. We know what is the average age. We also know what are the problems, common problems that are coming in the car, which helps us in serving the customers. Sure. We serve customers what they want. So for example, all this data that I've been talking about is about Sell Any Car. That data that we have collected in the last 10 years helped us launch a new brand, CarNab. We wanted to do retail business. We wanted to buy inventory and give it to our customers. So instead of going for the particular top 3 brands, which work maybe in US and Germany, we didn't go for it. We used that data that we had collected over the years to launch a brand, CarNab. We are giving this market what this customer wants. We are giving that car, that model, that price along with that car. So when we are building inventory, we are not building inventory of whatever comes at a good price. We build inventory on what the customers want. So data is very important. Shifting onto the marketing part, I think pandemic has changed this country a lot. I've been here for the last 15 years. And what happened in pandemic was a very different experience for me. That there were companies who refused to go online till the corona hit us, till the pandemic hit us. Now, literally everyone is online. Now we are talking about 15 minutes deliveries, which are happening by one of the retail giants here, online retail giants here. Talk about us. Our business is completely online. We do everything online. So where is the budget going? As a business, we have always believed in online marketing. We have experimented. We have done billboards on the Sheikh Zayed Road. Not saying that is wrong. But I don't know who am I showing my advert to. It's good for market awareness. Sure, it's good for brand recall. But I don't know the customer that comes to me is coming from that billboard or some other activity that I did. So how do I backtrack that customer that what works? It doesn't help me in generating next action plan.
Right.
Our budget has been heavily focused on online marketing always. We have a big marketing budget. We call ourselves a tech company. We have a big marketing budget. And it's generally always online. Whether it is through Google, now it is shifting a lot towards social media. It's something that we learn, we adapt ourselves, we move on. But yeah, we are heavily dependent on social media, on online marketing as compared to offline marketing.
Okay. Rujdi, with your experience specifically with brands like Almania, personally show driven as well, again online together, and just continuing that thought process. How like did digital transformation happen? I think you have past experience with more such companies where you have led some of these projects, and maybe you can compare your pre-pandemic era and post-pandemic as well. How have things shifted towards digital transformation?
Thank you. So let me start by just introducing myself. So my name is Rushdi. I have 19 years of experience in marketing and advertising. So I worked in marketing for in advertising, sorry, for 14 years, and for the past 5 years I've been working in retail. So today I am the marketing and business development director for Almania. Almania is a leading consumer electronics retailer in Saudi Arabia. It's one of the big ones, and Almania today is shifting into an omni-channel, modern omni-channel retailer. So they're strong, they're successful, but they need that shift. And going back to your question, today I think as a base, as something that's so essential, is data. Data today is the new oil. Data today, if you know how to leverage on it, you win. If you don't, then you cease to exist. That's exactly what's happening nowadays. So, and regardless of your, I mean, whether you're an omni-channel business, you're offline, you're online, you can. First of all, you need to have a unified customer view. That's very important. So, in our case today, I mean, most of our business is offline, but we can clearly see a big shift in trend towards online. So, how can we benefit from that? I'm going to talk about what I've done previously.
Sure.
So, in my previous life, let's say, when I was working for a consumer electronics retailer, another leader, what we have done, we have basically worked on a customer data platform where we've consolidated all of our data, both offline and online. And I'm going to give you a few examples of how you can do magic with it.
Sure.
So, as an example, when you understand your customers offline and you understand how many of them have actually bought online and how many did not, this is where you can actually target them, because you could have some very loyal customers that have never tried to buy online.
Right.
Maybe all what they need is a very simple push, telling them, here is a 100 riyal voucher to try out our shopping through our new mobile application. Sometimes that little push will make all the difference. I've done that in my previous job, and we were able to create what we call omni-channel customers. We've raised that by 30%.
Oh, that's
so we had
fantastic.
customers that were only buying offline for whatever reason. They needed that push, and we've done it. Another thing that's also great, you can sell complementary products. Today, somebody buys a mobile phone. You know that they've bought a mobile phone, but they haven't bought an accessory with it.
Right.
This is your chance to create FOMO, fearing of missing out. You can send them a message telling them, here is 48 hours. You have 30% off on your next purchase of accessories. And you make it easy for them, whether they buy it online or offline. Trust me, the results would be impeccable. Because people, when you give them a bit of sense of urgency and at the same time give them value, they act on it. And there are so many other instances. You can decrease your level of inactivity in customers, your churned customers. You can, I mean, it's a small percentage, but it's still significant. You can get them back. So many things can be done if you have your data consolidated and you know very well how to analyze it and leverage on it.
Sure, definitely. And just my own experience with brands in the consumer electronics space. So I've worked closely in the past with Tata and one of the consumer electronics brand that they have, and very rich in terms of their offline presence in the first place. Like just one anecdote that I can recollect in that was very simple thing. They say that we have learned a lot on the offline world. How can I even leverage? So we always think that people from an offline world are new to online, but they are trying to replicate, in fact, the offline behavior in an online world. Simple thing like if I'm say in Dubai and I know where's the closest store, and if I'm browsing from a particular location and I know that there is a store close enough, then they would like after a certain point while I'm browsing, consider, large purchases, say appliances. People do want some assistance over there. And that's what happens once you go into an electronic store, there will be some agent on the floor who will come and assist you to make the right choice. And that's something that they wanted to replicate online. So what they ended up doing was actually putting a store manager's name and number on the online side, that if you need assistance, this is the store manager's number. Why don't you just give him a call? And in fact, if you want, just visit the store as well. So very simple little things, to replicate and always learn. I always see that there is enough learnings, and that's your core strength. I mean, if someone has built a brand offline, why don't you use that core strength and actually make that work on an online world as well? So yeah, I think coming to Vidisha again, I'm sure that in the fintech space, we spoke about agents and whatnot. I mean, and you have been into larger brands in India as well who have actually made a lot of these processes online. Maybe you can share a few anecdotes from your own experience on what has worked, some good campaigns, or something that you might have optimized and actually seen fantastic results on the digital space as well.
Yeah, so I think I will share two big stories, so to say. Okay, so I'll share it from different industries just for the interest of everybody here. I'm sure everybody comes from diverse industries here. So I used to be with this hospitality business, and like you rightly spoke of, how do you connect offline behavior, and try to bring them online? How do you make them do transactions online? So let me tell you, I was part of this really large timeshare business, okay, with multiple resorts, and what they were really struggling with was filling up the lower occupancy resorts. Okay, so what me and my team really did is we actually we had the entire, I mean, that's like a 25-year long relationship that the brand has with any customer. That was like a lifetime subscription of sorts, right? That's how timeshare works. So we obviously had an entire history about the family structure, about where do they holiday, how do they holiday, what do they do on their holiday, everything, right? So we use that data point. And what we did is we populated about 65 parameters basis the kind of membership that the family has, how many people in the family, etc., some 65, 70 parameters, and came up with a model which actually could predict which are your top 3 next probable holiday destinations. Nice. So then what we did is we took that, okay, and started sending out communication about those top 3 destinations, and that was completely done dynamically. So every person gets their own destination suggestions. Basis that, we were actually able to uptick the lower occupancy. So we were trying to also push the lower occupancy resorts, right? It was not just about the higher occupancy resorts. So we were able to, uptick the occupancy by almost 40% doing this dynamic optimization. It was creative optimization primarily. Apart from that, what we also did, what we inbuilt into the CRM is we gave CRM access to even the banquet manager, the main people, the person who's at the reception, banquet manager, there's something called as a holiday manager where you do things inside the resort.
Right.
So we also shared certain data points, and we tried to customize sales pitch basis past behavior of that particular holiday. And we were able to actually upsell a lot of activities within the resort using his past data point, because we know what's his family structure. If he has kids, would he be more interested? Has he done kids activities in the resort in his earlier holiday, etc.? And we use that, and that actually helped increase the overall revenue also, at those particular resorts. So that's one interesting so to say, amalgamation of data, predictive analysis, and how do you uptick your revenues overall. Right. So that's, yeah. And of course, now currently at FinMart, so I'm with FinMart, and we are one of the largest banking services aggregator. So anybody looking for credit card, personal loan, get in touch with me. Jokes apart. Well, so we obviously have each and every person's financial horoscope, literally, right? So you literally know everything about the customer's financial history, what is your credit score, everything we know. We have access to that information.
Don't make
So
people
currently,
spooky right now.
so currently we are actually trying to, how do we come up with strategies to upsell, cross-sell, um, banking services across the spectrum, basis your credit score, basis when was your last credit card that you got, everything. We are trying to build in that model right now, but we are at that stage.
Okay, that would be fantastic. I think I'm sure. Like, I mean, with all the digital footprints, it becomes more and more easier for companies like yours to actually model data. Uh, and just touching upon where Vidisha ended, like the whole element around collecting all this data and utilizing building models, AI. I just wanted to try and understand. Are there AI elements that Selenikar probably utilizes? What are those elements? Are there augmented reality, virtual reality, anything else that you might have utilized within the spectrum?
Sure. See, we as a business are working in the second most expensive asset that human beings can be involved into. The first one being real estate. The car
Right.
is generally the second most expensive asset everyone wants. So when we were launching Carnap, I'll just for the sake of time, I'll run fast. But when we were launching Carnap, we wanted to create something online. We wanted to create something fraud proof. We wanted to create something which is pandemic free. Because what happens when a country goes into a lockdown? The business shuts. We were the only business at that time that was not shut. We were the only one who were doing things. How did it happen? We had 10 years of data. We knew what customers wanted. We launched a new service called home inspection. So traditionally, again, what we were doing is we had branches, 30 odd branches all over UAE. Our customers would come there and we would inspect the car, they will sell the car. During pandemic, the malls were closed. For about 30 days, there was no one in and out. So when everyone was not doing business, that was a time we were still doing business. We had 100% market share for that 1 month because no one else knew what to do. So we went to customers' houses. We used our channels, the tech that we have at the back end, to reach out to our customers. All they needed to do was book an appointment with us. We took care of the safety things. We accepted so much feedback from the customers at that stage. We were having online meetings with customers. Talking about online meetings, we have reached a stage with Carnap. Carnap, as I was mentioning, that we have the second most expensive asset generally human beings have. We are selling cars online. Can you imagine a customer sitting at the comfort of home on his couch, buying a car online, and we're delivering it 24 hours later without a test drive, no paperwork, nothing. Everything is online.
Interesting.
We are accepting payments online. We are showing the car online. You were talking about AI. You were talking about virtual reality. When we buy cars, thousands of cars on a monthly basis, we buy it in 15 minutes. How are we buying it? We are clicking the photographs. We are using that technology to reach out to hundreds of dealers, thousands of dealers who are not even in UAE. They are sitting in Egypt. They are sitting in KSA. And they're buying cars from UAE on the basis of report that we have generated.
Right.
All that in 30 minutes. So there is a very good element that we are already using in terms of technology. Where are we heading tomorrow? So we are already working on a chatbot where so we found out that what are the top 10 queries that we receive at our call center. 7 of the top 10 queries are actually information that can be served automated. I want to book an appointment. Can it be done online? Yes. The customer doesn't need to call the call center. I want to reschedule the appointment. I want to cancel my appointment. I am in the mall, but I cannot find you. Where is your location? 7 of the top 10 problems can be handled by a bot. And we are working on that. We are working on a virtual reality where the cars that we are selling online, right now it's in photographs. We want to give our customers a phase where they can open the door, they can go inside, they can take a round of the car, they can virtually hear the car. So right now all this is happening on photos and videos, but we want our customers to have that experience where they can go out and actually experience in a real way. So yeah, there's a lot already happening in our business, but the future entails a lot of things which are going to come.
That's interesting. And considering like moving towards the future, and what I would want to see you, and there are a lot of budding marketeers. Some people are already in the industry, spent a few years. Considering your vast experience, what would be a few things that you would want to see, like, and again, what are the new technologies that they need to focus on so that their skill building, upskilling can happen, and they get more better jobs or better salaries. It would be good for people to hear from you on that front as well.
Very, very, very good question. Actually, I would like to start it by I'm going to say something extremely simple and easy, and I always tell that to my team. So basically, the way to understand how to reach customers is just understand their day. So 30 years ago, people would wake up in the morning, maybe they would start by reading the newspaper, and then they would go sit, have breakfast, and then they would drive their car, and all the way till, let's say, the end of the night. And the mobile did not play a big role. In today's world, the first thing you do when you wake up, you look at your phone.
Yeah.
The last thing you do before you go to bed, you look at your phone.
Sure.
So something that's so easy yet extremely beneficial is to, if you have a set of customers, just understand how is their, what is their typical day? What do they do from the time they wake up till the time they go to bed? What do they interact with? What devices they use? So if you understand that, accordingly, check out what technologies would help you serve that. What technology would help you reach these customers at these particular points in time.
Right.
So this would be, again, in a very generic way, this would be what I would do. But again, if I want to give an advice to people, I think today we live in a digital era. And today this digital era is transforming into an artificial intelligence era.
Right.
So what I would do right now is I would study, if I'm talking about students, study solutions that would combine artificial intelligence, AI, with MarTech solutions. This is what I would advise to marketeers. Again, something that's very important for success of any business is agility and managing expectations of customers. I'm going to give a very quick example of what I have done with my team, of course, in my previous life. So during COVID, our offline business was around 90%. And all of a sudden, I remember very well, in April 2020, when everything was shut down, it became 100% online. So we were not ready. Nobody was ready for that. So what do you do when that happens? You set expectations right. So as long as expectations are set right and there is reassurance, then this is where you will have satisfied customers. So what we've done, we've sent out communication to all our customer base, telling them that go online, buy your products. We guarantee that we're gonna deliver it within 5 business days. And if that doesn't happen, you're gonna get a voucher of 100 riyals for the delay. People were happy about that. Number one, we've set expectations right, that we need 5 business days to deliver. And number two, whoever did not get their delivery in 5 business days, and honestly, a lot of them did not at that time because there were a lot of uncertainties, at least they got a compensation for that. And they knew that that could happen. So again, that would be my advice, setting expectations right. Thanks.
Fantastic. Yeah. Thank you, everyone.
WebEngage. Retention simplified.